Hey guys, welcome back to Real Talk. I'm joined once again by Solo
It's great to be here.
and our first time guest, hopefully repeating guest, Jad.
Hopefully, I'll be back.
Hopefully.
We'll
All right,
coach.
continuing on with wrestling. There's a war happening right now between NXT and AEW, both featuring on Wednesday nights. And yeah, it's back and forth, back and forth. From what I've seen in the ratings, AEW's been winning for majority, I would say, of the month or of the time they've been feuding. But much recently, I'll say this week, NXT took the views pretty much. Give me your thoughts, boys. Who's winning this war?
Well, they were saying, on the first night of the Wednesday night wars, as they're calling it, AEW they took the lead, and they haven't dropped since the first 8 weeks up until this week. They finally lost lost out to NXT, and on the first night that they were defeated, WWE actually put out a statement congratulating them, but then reminding them at the end of the statement that this is a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah, I remember that.
And it's just quite ironic because they've lost the first 2 months straight, and then in this 9th week, they bring out all the main roster stars to try and compete, everything they could possibly do to get a win, and they just got there by a hair. And Jericho put up a statement on Twitter saying, "Hey, I thought this was a marathon, not a sprint."
It's true.
Yeah, it's
Classic
interesting
Jericho.
stuff. Yeah, but it's interesting, man. They're trying to one up each other, and iron sharpens iron. Makes it competitive. Makes it like interesting to watch instead of just this complacent, boring main roster that we've had for years.
Yeah,
So
look,
it's good
I
stuff.
think AEW is winning at the moment. Obviously, not just ratings wise, but just personally for me, watching the product itself, it just seems like they got that Attitude Era vibe about them. You know what I mean? That nostalgic vibe about them. They got smaller arenas like back in the day. That they're not over. The characters aren't overdone. Like they got creative freedom. Nothing's changed at NXT, and I think maybe NXT is trying a bit harder. Like it used to be cool to watch, and now, you know what I mean? Now 2 hours, they're really like trying their best, and it's coming off as a bit like WWE-ish, you know what I mean? They've lost that what was special about NXT back in the day, you know what I mean? So I think AEW right now, it's way more watchable. Look, don't get me wrong, I watched NXT this week just because it was the go home. There was that they really advertised this week. There's going to be a big show. The main roster stars were coming.
That's the thing. They really had to pull out the big guns for this week. They called back a lot of main roster stars,
and they just won.
That's it. Yeah,
like
that's
you said. So what is that? It says a lot about what's going on right now.
No, definitely. Pretty much echo with the same thoughts you guys are saying. I feel like AEW is that fresh brand now that everyone. It's like a breath of fresh air. Everyone's excited to watch it. It's new. It does feel like the old days now. Tag team division, is thriving. Everyone's talking literally not from a script or from their brain, so you feel the realness. You feel the realness to it. NXT was the cool thing for a long time, and then sort of just it felt like it was then the developmental brand of Raw and SmackDown for a bit, and now they're trying again now to push it back up. And yeah, this week did feel a bit forced with everyone coming back and whatever it was. But I think AEW has been pretty much winning it handsomely. Now we talked a bit about it, the thoughts on AEW. Let's get into specifics here. What do you love about it? What do you not like about it that much? What can improve? Give me your thoughts.
Yeah, like I said before, it gives you that Attitude Era vibe. You know what I mean? I'm just always excited to watch it, and they're really taking that marathon on board. You know what I mean? Everything's a slow burn. Like they haven't pulled the big guns out yet. And I was talking to you, Jad, about it before. Maybe that's people trying to criticize that, and we were thinking man, this is a good thing that they haven't brought out the big guns.
What do you mean by big guns?
I'm talking about the Young Bucks aren't in the main picture, the main title picture. Kenny Omega, they have not used him as a main character. He's been used as
in the title picture.
Yeah, in the title picture.
They haven't hot shotted him.
And they're the biggest stars. You know what I mean? Cody Rhodes probably the only one from those guys that run the joint that has been given a light. But
Yeah.
they've been giving a lot of young guys, like I've never heard of Private Party. I haven't heard of them before. Their first match, unbelievable.
Yeah.
The Dark Order, man, they've now started to shine through. SCU, they weren't great, but
Yeah.
now this last week they
And-
finally gave them a bit of time to talk, a bit of time to just show who they are.
MJF.
And MJF, Jericho, man,
Yeah.
Jericho's
he's the
Jericho.
bro, he's the
The
goat.
goat. He's the
Man,
goat.
bro, he's honestly the best thing.
Mhm.
He shouldn't be this good. It's crazy. It's crazy
At
that he's
49 years of age, he's
Yeah.
still this. He's still this good. That's
Yeah.
ridiculous, man.
this good.
The only bad thing, I've talked to you about it. Some of the finishes
Yeah.
in the TV.
Roll up.
They're very weird, man. Very weird endings to some matches.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they're building to something else. They don't want to give a big finish right now.
Mm.
Look, it's not a big roster, but it's a sustainable roster. Like they can manage what they've got right now, and they can build on it. They're really taking this like long. They want to last for a long time. They don't want to be a quick, like you said, a quick fix or a quick alternative, and then go. They want to be in it for the long run.
I think that they've tried to learn from the mistakes that WCW made when they sort of just burnt out. There was not really much to go on. They bought all the WWE superstars,
Yep.
and they said, "Oh, we've got them now, so let's just we'll use the storylines." That just sort of
Yeah.
runs out.
And I forgot they've got JR. JR's the main
Yeah,
commentator.
Boomer Sooner.
Bro, he makes when he's commentating on wrestling, it's legit.
Yeah.
It feels legit. Yeah.
Bro,
Yeah.
every time, man.
Mm.
That's a bro. You don't understand how massive that is. They got him
Yeah.
on board.
Definitely.
Agreed. I would say something that NXT has head and shoulders over AEW is their women's division. They've got a very, very solid women's division. They're actually really good wrestlers with proper characters, proper storylines, slow builds, and all this development. And there's the most talent I've seen in the women's division since the Four Horsewomen, since Charlotte, Bayley, Sasha, and Becky. Now, there's actually some characters in there that's like, oh, I can't wait until such and such comes up and takes on Becky or Charlotte and whatever. You know what I mean? And there really hasn't been anyone who's really actually gotten to that main event level that's garnered any interest since those four. And there's a lot of potentials in there. AEW, nowhere near as much focus on that. And that's I think it should come in time, but I've got to say that they've got it easy over them. Easy.
WWE has it over.
Yeah,
AEW.
NXT has it over
NXT,
AEW
sorry,
for
yep.
sure. Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you guys too. Like I said, I loved growing up. It's about what makes you reminisce about when you were younger and why you fell in love with the product. And AEW has a lot of stuff that makes me feel that way. Tag team, I loved tag team wrestling when I was young. I loved it,
Yep.
different tag teams, and every tag team had their own vibe.
Yep.
They had their own, gimmick or whatever it was, and you literally, like, the Hardy Boys had their thing, the Dudley Boys had their thing. It was great
Yep.
to watch, So I feel like AEW has that down pat. Now, where I sort of don't like AEW is not, look, you're watching a show and you're meant to, I want to feel like the guy that I'm watching, if I had a fight with him,
Yep.
he'd beat me, right? That's what I want to feel like.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Bryan, for example, perfect example. He's a small guy, yeah?
Yep.
I'm bigger than Daniel Bryan,
Mhm.
right? But I know he'll beat me up because he's a great wrestler.
Mm.
He's a tactician, whatever it is, right?
Yep.
What's that guy's name? Darby?
We're talking about Darby Allin.
Darby?
We're talking about Darby Allin for sure. Yeah.
I don't buy it.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, they keep talking about heart. He's got heart. This
Yeah.
kid's got heart. This kid's got
yeah.
heart.
Does
JR.
it not remind you of a young Jeff Hardy? But
He reminds me of a young Spike Dudley.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know what? It's so funny that you mentioned that. I was thinking the same thing
Yeah.
this week. But see, the thing is, the way they try and justify his character is he's a skater.
Yeah.
And I've seen some of the clips. This guy has no self-preservation whatsoever.
Mm.
And he's cooler than Spike
Spike.
Dudley.
Yeah, like, he is
And
definitely. He's
Spike?
this generation Spike
Cool.
Dudley. Do you get me?
I think he's a mix between Spike. I get. You know what it is? John Moxley, who's my favorite wrestler at the moment,
Mhm.
my favorite wrestler. He is booked in AEW as like a killer. He is considered big, right? So a small wrestler, if you want to compare it to John Moxley, would be like Darby Allin's size. Basically, what I'm saying is the monsters are smaller now.
Mm.
So the little guys are smaller little guys, and I think it's just a sign of the times. There's more realistic people wrestling now. Like they're trying to appeal to this generation, being like, you can be a wrestler too.
Yeah, no, I'm with that. I get that.
Yeah, but I see your point.
Yeah, that's what's great about. I think, but again, you wanna when you watch that show, you want to suspend your belief, right?
Yeah.
And be like, yeah, okay, these are larger than life characters,
yeah.
and these like superheroes, and they're fighting, and there's this and that, and whatever, right?
Yeah.
Then I see Darby Allin skate down to the ring, and I think, what the hell? This guy have a title match today?
What about older wrestlers? What about older wrestlers, cuz? What about Ric Flair, cuz? If he started wrestling again right now,
Yeah, same thing. That doesn't make sense. Like I don't believe.
bro, he'll
what-
put a
but-
5. And what if he could do a 5-star match, bro? You wouldn't be happy with that?
Nah, he can't. But you know what I mean?
Obviously not. I'm
The
just
thing
saying. What
is,
if?
no, I'm saying the thing is, like again, it's personal. It's personally what I love to watch wrestling is I love to watch it and go, like, yeah, that's real. Like when I'm watching it right there, that's real, man. Even though it's not real, but it's real. I get that, right? John Cena picked up Mark Henry and dumped him on the ground. That's crazy. He's that strong. It's amazing, whatever. So when I see something that I don't believe, like it makes me feel like, why did I fall out of love with WWE? Roman Reigns. I didn't believe it.
But he can bash you, bro.
I don't know, not about that. I didn't believe he's that good. You're not that good to be champion. You're not that good to be the number one guy in the company.
Yeah, unauthentic.
You know?
push.
Yeah, I didn't. That's why I didn't
Push.
believe it. And
He
because
got
I didn't
forced.
believe it, it's not his fault, right? Obviously, you take whatever you can get. I'm saying, but as a viewer, because I didn't believe it, I was like, nah, I'm out. And I feel like at times AEW does that sometimes, where it's a bit like, I don't believe this. It's great. I don't believe it, but let me bring up this. Yeah, you guys saw the Moxley Kenny Omega match?
Yep.
On the pay-per-view.
Yep.
What do you guys think of it?
It was wild, man.
Crazy,
It
right?
was wild, yeah.
From literally start to finish.
Yeah,
It's
it was-
crazy.
I
That got
liked it. Yeah.
it got a lot of negative reaction, but I don't know
Yeah,
if you guys saw
Yeah,
heaps
heaps.
of being too much, like too over the top.
Yeah.
And I get it. I actually understand the people that say that, because it did feel like a bit like, all right, man, we get it. It's a hardcore match,
Yeah.
And then parts of it go, nah, that wouldn't happen. That's not, again, it makes you sort of go, like, you're not watching a match and you see, like, when they're punching, it's not hitting, right?
Right.
But then you see him actually miss him and the guy turns away,
Yeah.
and you go, ugh,
It's hard for you to suspend disbelief. And
Yeah.
You get disconnected from it. And
that's right.
But
and
I
that-
I was gonna say, but I think the same people probably loved Mick Foley versus Randy Orton
Yeah.
back in 04. That
Mm.
bloody hardcore match they had.
No, but the
But what
difference.
I'm saying is, what I'm trying to get at is,
Yeah,
I feel like AEW's had a really good run so far,
Yeah.
and I think people are just looking for something to criticize them about,
maybe.
like in terms of that. You know what I mean? With
Maybe.
the big guys.
Mm.
Look, I get what you're saying. Like, I get what they're saying, but man, that was something I haven't seen for a long time. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? That's
Yeah.
why I liked it. I'm like, man, like bro, you've seen a lot of Hell in a Cells. You've seen a lot of gimmick matches in WWE. Like, nothing happened. You know what I mean? The
Yep.
match happens, and it's like
Yep.
no one really got injured.
That's
Yeah.
it. It's just
Yeah, they
a
lost
new
that. They
day,
lost
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That, what do you call it? That scariness about the matches.
The realism.
The realism,
Yeah.
the elimination chamber.
Exactly.
What did they do?
Yeah.
They padded it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
Come
yeah.
on, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These gimmick matches, they're supposed to like shorten careers,
Mm.
and they're supposed to be like
Exactly.
there has to be some kind of follow up, and I like the way they followed up the Kenny and Moxley match, where Kenny was like, he's out of it.
Yeah.
He's got a black eye, and
That's
he's like,
right.
I don't know how I'm going to recover from this. And the match means something.
Yeah.
There was this era with I felt like Cena would like lose a match, a world title match,
Yeah.
and he'd rock up the next week like nothing happened. It's all good.
Yeah.
Yep, it's like an episode of The Simpsons. Like everything just reset.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then nothing means anything.
Mm-hmm.
This, at least they're paying attention to detail. I think I really like their attention to detail. AEW.
Even during matches, bro, you see the if someone's getting hurt on the foot for it, like the left foot,
Mm.
and then that person gets up, you see him stumbling on that
Yeah.
left foot for the whole match.
They sell.
They sell it very, very well. So I love that part about it. Yeah, I just, just a few of the smaller guys. It feels like Jungle Boy.
Mm.
He's okay. He's not as small, but again,
Marco Stunt. That's the smaller guy that's with him.
yeah, that's the other guy. That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
yeah,
looks like a
Bro,
kid.
he's a
Looks like
kid, bro.
Yeah, Jericho
kid.
called him a kid this week.
yeah. But yeah. Anyways, let's move on to NXT. What are they doing right? What are they doing wrong? What's your thoughts?
NXT. It's felt like it's the more wrestling based show where it's just match after match after match, not as much until recently, until this Survivor Series stuff. I feel like even with, like, for example, the Undisputed Era, like the hottest thing right now in NXT, I feel like they haven't really displayed their characters enough. I think it's a lot based on how great their matches are, and I'm a huge fan of Undisputed Era, but I feel like they got to give them a bit more. Like, who is Adam Cole? He's a great wrestler, I can say that, and he's part of a cool group, but they got to give more development to the characters, otherwise it's harder to get invested. NXT, they're the ones that said it's a marathon, not a sprint. So maybe they're building. They said NXT is the main roster now. People don't go up to the main roster. We are the main roster now. So maybe they're just setting their foundations, and it's going to be a slow, gradual thing. But we'll see where it goes. The show's been fun, but it hasn't been as fresh as AEW, I think, personally.
Yeah, I agree with that. I guess their strength is the wrestling, and that hasn't. Look, as much as I say they're trying even harder, bro, it's better wrestling. But again, there's no development with characters. Not just Undisputed Era. There's a lot of other characters that haven't been developed. Like Matt Riddle. I'm trying to think of what's the big boy's name? The guy that was with him that invaded SmackDown.
Braun Strowman.
Keith Lee.
Yeah.
Keith Lee. Man, what an animal, man.
Yeah,
There's a lot of confusion with that in NXT UK, and then you got them guys coming there. I think they're trying to settle that down a bit. But I'll be honest with you, the only bad thing for me is there's lighting. The lighting's shit.
It's very dark.
Man, it's like they're in a, I don't know, they're in a ballroom, Hammerstein ballroom or something. But man, another thing is they're still in the same location. Like, I know they made the production bigger, they made it longer and all that. But the fact that they're in the same arena every week, it's boring. It's boring, man.
Yeah.
It's the same reactions every week.
Yep.
Whereas AEW, man, they've taken it on the road, and that's ballsy, man, because you don't know what reaction you're gonna get. Like TNA never used to take the road on the show on the road, man. They used to stay in Florida. Rarely they take it out, because it was cost effective and all that rubbish. But man, when you see the same reactions, you see the same faces, man, you can tell. If you're watching it, if you're a wrestling fan, you can tell, man, this is a bit forced. This is they start saying, this is awesome, but nothing.
Yeah.
What the hell's going on? There's nothing happening.
Yeah.
It's relax a bit.
That's it's like the rules all of a sudden. You have to chant, this is awesome.
It's like something flashed above.
Yeah, you have to chant.
Awesome.
Yeah. Feels choreographed sometimes. But I know it's not, but it just feels like if that's the same crowd, it's almost like they're going through the motions, just like the commentators, just like the wrestlers. They feel like just part of the furniture.
I thought you were going to say you hated Mauro Ranallo.
Yeah. I've soured on Mauro Ranallo, man. His pop culture references and stuff like that, they're so forced and they're so frequent. Every second he will compare something to a rap lyric or something like that, and it just feels like this old dude that's just trying to be hip and trying to be mainstream, trying to be have the lingo and all that stuff. It just feels so forced. I've seen people complaining about JR online. They're saying that he has a lack of passion, and you can tell he's disconnected from the product. I don't see that.
I think he's just a bit old.
He's a bit old, but he's old.
It's normal. That's normal, man.
You've got the other commentators to feel that. You got Excalibur. He's the young guy.
Yeah, bro. He's good.
And he provides the more modern indie view of things.
100%.
And you got JR for the old school storytelling stuff. When John Moxley comes out and he's calling it JR,
bro,
it feels like Stone Cold.
Bro, when he came out that first time, oh my God, bro. It's you said, it's old school, man. It's like the Attitude Era again.
I feel like it's Stone Cold, like you said. I feel like he's that character. He's Stone Cold in AEW.
Yeah.
He's even his finisher.
Yeah.
Kick bang. It's it's DDT, stunner. Right. It's very, very similar how he hits it. I think going forward, you guys are on the money. AEW has a lot more going forward for them in the next few weeks, next few months, whatever it is. NXT needs to pick up their game big time, and hopefully competition is always good. It's always good, and let's see what it brings out.